now are not aware that the FDLE did a first investigation and it was a farce. We proved it. Everybody knows, the public knows it was a complete farce. Well, about 6 months ago, the FDLE, through request of
Actually,
lawyers.
We were trying to get the federal in.
Yes, we tried to get the Fed. We tried to get the feds in here, and that's been a lost issue. But they reopened a case, and they have talked to at least 50 of my men as I'm sitting here right now about the sexual abuse that occurred there. And this investigation is almost over with, and then the findings will be released to the public as well as to the cabinet and the legislators of this state. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I know these men. I know because they trust me. I don't talk about their sexual abuses, but they did. And 2 lawyers and 2 FDLE agents would have to be present for each man. And I set up a lot of those for the lawyers to meet with because I knew who was sexually abused because they had told me. But I will guarantee you this, sir, when this report comes out, it's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. I will almost guarantee you that.
Also, exhuming the bodies was entrusted to the University of South Florida. They're the ones that went in and exhumed all the graves and everything to try and identify the bodies. Also, when she was in there doing her investigation, she did find a rape room.
Okay.
That was explained to her, and she found it and all the stuff that they used in there to rape the boys.
Now,
and this stuff was still there in 2011 when the school closed.
This school wasn't closed until 2011.
Right.
Yes, it was, and it was. Let me explain.
Wait. Was this stuff still going on up until 2011?
Absolutely.
In different forms, though.
The White House was closed, Ed. Let me tell you about the White House.
They didn't flog them anymore.
The White House supposedly was closed down in 1968 when Governor Kirk from the state of Florida made a surprise visit there, and one of the boys, he was a brave kid, boy. He grabbed the governor's hand when he got the opportunity. He was on a yard crew that morning and begged the governor to come with him because he wanted to show him what they were doing to him. And he took him to the White House. And they wouldn't open the door for him, and he told one of the staff members, either you open the door or I personally will break the door down. And he is the one that stopped the White House torture in 1968. He even made this statement in a newspaper, and we have the paper. If the people of Florida knew what was going on up here in this panhandle, they would be up here with rifles. Quote, unquote.
He said somebody should have blown the whistle on this thing years ago.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but so now all this stuff was still going on until 2011. Do we have any witnesses from around 2000 to 2011?
Well, the camel the straw that broke the camel's back there was a boy that went in there. He was a black boy. And he was only there for 8 hours and died.
Okay. What year was that?
And that was in, 2009, Jerry?
I'm not sure.
Okay, but recently. Now,
but Ed, this is what spurred the closure. Like I told you, the school still was not being policed for 100 years. And they were getting away even just as bad as stuff when we were there almost. The White House, of course, wasn't open, but there was a lot of problems going on. So when the Justice Department finally stepped in, and they were the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department stepped in, they wrote and fired 2 letters over the governor's head. And they stated this. Basically, you either close it or we're going to close it. And that was the bottom line. And that's what really made this whole thing take off and being in the form that it is today.
Okay. Now, let me ask this. Now, we had discussed before that the school had become a haven for pedophiles. Now, one question I have is, were there other people working at the facilities that weren't pedophiles that were objecting to what was going on?
Yes.
Absolutely.
What happened when that happened?
Yeah.
Is the people that were perpetrating all the acts ran them off.
Okay, so this was a haven.
Come in there who actually wanted to help.
Now, was this a haven for pedophiles up until 2011?
You go into Mariana's records right now.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
You look at the number of people in Mariana per capita who are sexual predators, who have that mark on them as being sexual predators, you will not believe how many people lived in that town.
No, I will believe it because I know Florida's a haven for these guys to begin with. But now another question I have for you. For the workers there, the employees, there were no kind of those employee background checks that you have to take when you go work at a school? Or
Are you kidding? Listen, Ed.
Well, not in
this is the
61.
best of all.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a job in Mariana, and even the Justice Department stated this in 2011, we found that the pay scale from the Dozier School is approximately $5 or more under par for the rest of the nation. That's not hard to figure out, is it, Ed? Of what kind of people you get, what you pay for. You know that old saying,
right.
sir.
But there were no background checks to work.
They had.
All right, wait a minute. Let me finish something. I will tell you that a superintendent in the past years before we got there was a felon, had been in prison, and was hired as the superintendent of the school, Ed.
Okay. But now what about the regular workers? There was no background checks for criminal record checks?
No.
Okay. Now, you guys, there was a lawsuit. Now, what's the story with the lawsuit?
All right, let me explain. You want me to do that? Yes. Let me explain to you about. I'm not going to sit here and not say to the public, which it's public knowledge at this point, these men are seeking somehow to be considered, to be compensated for what they had to go through as young children. Okay, Ed?
Okay. Well,
now.
And it affected their lives.
No, I understand that. No, so a lawsuit was filed.
Yes, but let me. Okay. I was trying to explain that.
Okay.
To properly do a claims bill in the state of Florida, you have to do this. You have to exhaust all legal avenues that would pull it up to a claims bill. And that means going through a lawsuit that the lawyers knew. They knew it before they walked in the courtroom and had this and had Tidwell, with his deposition there and all. They knew that it was going to get thrown out due to this, the statute of limitations. And they already knew it, but they had to do it because it's a forced law. You have to do it whether you lose or not. You follow, Ed?
Yes, I do. Okay.
And then you can go towards what they call a claims bill, which I'm going to be honest with you. That's another thing that I don't want to get into for the simple reason I did not get into this thing for any compensation. I stated that to the lawyers. As a matter of fact, I told them, you can pull me off of that. That's not my job here. My job is try to make some kind of justice for these men in any way we possibly can. And if they are compensated, it would be a great situation, because if anybody ever deserve any compensation, it's these men or any of them that ever faced the whip in that White House, sir. Now, I'm going to tell you something about the whip. I haven't told you.
No. Wait. One second. There was a lawsuit filed. What year was the lawsuit filed?
Oh, my goodness. It was way back there.
2008, I believe.
Okay, 2008. Now, who was the defendant? Was the state of Florida?
No. The defendants are the state of Florida, the Department of Agriculture. I also believe the Department of Transportation. Troy Tidwell was named as person.
Most of them are deceased.
Yeah.
Right, I was going to ask that. Now, most of the guards and the teachers and the people who worked at the school, when you guys were around, are deceased. But now this Troy Tidwell, how old is he today?
Troy Tidwell right now, He'd be either 90 or 91 maybe, but here is the issue with Troy Tidwell. As I told you in the beginning, Troy Tidwell stands fast under the Fifth Amendment, which there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I tried everything to do something about it, but was not successful. And I don't expect that ever take a man right now that I was told by a reliable source that is in a nursing home somewhere in that panhandle and has full-blown dementia. And this information given to me about that is a reliable source. So, Mr. Tidwell.
Question.
Go ahead,
sure.
Bill.
Just for the heck of it. All right, let's just examine just an example. Let's look at Bill Cosby.
Okay.
Who these women who come to Bill Cosby and say, hey, you gave me drugs and you raped me. Okay? He says, no, I didn't. They're saying, yes, you did. Now they've got him on the carpet for doing it. Okay? We had 500 men that said, you did this to me. You raped me. You beat me. You run me through psychological abuse. And you got one man that said, no, I didn't. And nothing is happening.
Okay, so Tidwell was one of the defendants in the suit, right?
Right.
Yes, you can actually go online if the public is listening. You can actually, if you Google Troy Tidwell, don't be shocked because he has got plenty of positions on the internet, and you can find his whole testimony with our lawyers, and you can see how much this man lied and denied that he had no part of what we say he had done to us. And that's why, Ed, I had to do something, because when he did that, the public immediately turned on us like a bunch of pack rats, saying, you guys are liars, you're not telling the truth. And I only had one thing I could do at that time. I spent my own dime, and I didn't even do it here in Cape Coral. I drove all the way to Tampa to meet with a polygrapher I have never met in my life. And I even told the biggest newspaper, who has kept coverages on us for 8 years now, I had their key writer, Ben Montgomery, attend that polygraph, and you've got it in front of you because I sent it to you, and I passed it. It didn't do me a bit of good, but it did this much good. It turned the public view back around once again that this man is lying.
Okay.
And that's why...
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, he's a monster.
You know, you look at us now, and everybody, when we were kids, nobody believed us because we were kids, and they were just saying, oh, this is a little kid that got his butt beat, and now he's wanting, you know, like kids are now telling on their parents and everything, you know. And now that we are 60 and 70 years old, we come to you and we say, this happened to us when we were children. We tried to tell you then, and nobody believed. We're trying to tell you now. Now we are a bunch of old men trying to get $1 from the state. You know? So, I mean, that's one of those lose-lose situations.
Okay.
You know, where
okay.
you have to endure everything all your life because of what these people did. Now,
you say that when you filed this lawsuit, that Tidwell took the fifth. But then you're also telling me that he denied it. Where?
Yes, well, no. He took the fifth afterwards.
Okay.
He took the fifth afterwards because...
He went through a deposition, which you will be able to see the deposition.
Gotcha.
Okay? And then after he went through the deposition, then Jerry took polygraph to prove him wrong.
Right.
After Jerry proved him wrong, they went back to Tidwell to talk to him, and he said, I plead the Fifth Amendment.
Who went back to him? The attorneys went back for an additional deposition?
The attorneys.
No. It was during the FDLE investigation, okay? The FDLE had an open investigation on this, even when Tidwell had gone to court. When I reported the murder of Edgar Elton to the head investigator with the FDLE, he said, I will question Tidwell on this death but we're going to save him for a while because we've got other work to do before we want to approach him. And so I waited, and I waited. I kept calling. I said,